Et salut tout le monde, on se retrouve sur What Remains of Edith Finch. C'est une découverte, je pense que j'ai dû voir des vidéos dessus, mais c'était il y a très très longtemps. Du coup, c'est une découverte pour moi, parce que c'est pas trop ce qui m'attend, je me rappelle plus si j'ai vu des vidéos, comme je le disais. Je sais juste qu'on est la dernière personne vivante de la famille. Et on va se retrouver dans un vieux manoir de famille et on va découvrir ce qui s'est passé sur, je crois qu'il y a 12 ou 14 personnes de notre famille qui est décédée. En gros, voilà l'histoire de ce que j'ai compris. Par contre, à la manette, c'est un peu nul à chier. Attends, je peux pas aller plus loin. Ah, comment ça marche? Ah,
A lot of
d'accord, j'ai
this
compris.
isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Ah, elle a juste dit ce qui avait été, qui était marqué là. Bon, par contre, il y a pas les sous-titres? Ah oui. On va voir s'il y a les sous-titres après. Joli beau, hein, quand même, pour un jeu qui a presque 10 ans.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
D'accord, en fait, les sous-titres sont au-dessus.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Il y a eu... Ah, c'est là que c'est marqué. Et depuis l'enterrement de mon frère Lewis.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Ouais, mais
Maybe she
bon,
thought I'd
il
know,
faut suivre où il y a
or
les sous-titres pour
she
les
thought the
montrer.
mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Elle est en bas ou en haut? Elle est en bas. Vas-y, le chemin pour aller chez toi. Hein. C'est très joli, mais c'est un peu bizarre. Ah non, c'est juste une merde. Je peux pas y aller, c'est un mur invisible. Je veux pas. Allez plus vite. Et... Je dirais qu'en bas, on n'a pas, on peut pas y aller. Ah non, j'ai un mur invisible ici. Ok.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Il y a peut-être quelque chose, mais je sais pas où ce qu'il faut. Faut faire parce que j'ai l'impression que j'ai quand même un mur invisible en bas. Donc...
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Trace de sabot. Oh. J'espère que c'est pas trop gênant. J'ai mis un réticule parce que je crois que pour les gens qui ont le motion sickness et tout, vaut mieux avoir un petit réticule pour réduire ça. Vous me dites. Normalement, pas spécialement gênant, mais bon.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
C'est pas tant la maison, c'est plus l'endroit qui fait peur quand même. C'est très joli, mais comme je dis, en pleine forêt, c'est pas trop ça quoi. Des monstres bazooka, si seulement. Je sais même pas si c'est un jeu horrifique. Il va y avoir un cerf doit être coincé dedans.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Trop bizarre d'appuyer sur la gâchette droite pour allumer des trucs. Pour interagir. Donc ouais, comme je disais, je sais pas si ça va être horrifique ou pas. C'est vraiment, je sais que c'est très narratif, ça c'est sûr. Il me semble pas que ce soit un jeu d'horreur. Je sens la maison avec des livres de partout. Bon, ceci dit, moi j'aime bien les livres, mais bon là il y a un peu du bazar, un peu de partout.
Like how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot. The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Ouais, pas mal.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Ah d'accord. Ils ont fait les mots, ils ont filé sous la cheminée, j'avais pas vu. Pas mal l'effet.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Marqué. Un kidnapping qui a été perdu.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Vision d'horreur, on verra plus tard. Et on dirait qu'il y a des portes scellées et ça doit être tous les souvenirs.
Edie's father Odin built the original house. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Hein. Bah allez. La lumière. On va rentrer dans la lumière, attention. Ah. Et baleine.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Sous les mers.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Ah, petite sauvegarde, donc c'est dans le premier souvenir.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Et... La Jarby, elle est pas décédée, enfin, je ne vois pas bien où elle est. J'espère que c'est pas elle.
I kept eating and eating.
Ah, va pas manger le dentifrice, si. Oh. Oh, mais quelle horreur. Oh. Elle va pas manger ça aussi.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Ah, mais ça, c'est horrible, ça tu meurs, là. C'est empoisonné, le truc, c'est pour ça qu'elle est morte. Finalement, je vois bien le côté horrifique
Then I
du...
heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her
On va
nest.
pas manger les rondelles. On va pas manger les
I
rondelles.
reached out for her.
Elle a été
And
séquestrée.
suddenly, I was
What?
a cat.
Ah, d'accord.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Oups.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her.
Oups. Voilà.
I could tell she was getting really tired.
Je vais tomber dans le vide, moi.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Je sens la chute horrible.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
C'est moi qui vole. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut que je fasse? Je chope une petite fille, je vois.
Rabbits.
Oh non, le lapin. Non, pas le lapinou. Alors moi je me prenais le tronc d'arbre, hein, mais bon.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit.
Là il bug le lapinou. Raté.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop
Lapin.
eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Oh la vache. D'accord. Voilà. Là on est dans un jeu, enfin un film d'horreur Sharknado et compagnie là.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Youhou!
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
J'ai raté le phoque en tout cas. Yeah. Non, on vit ici.
I tore off her flipper and it tasted really good.
Ouais, mais c'est une psychopathe cette gamine. Merde, il a raté.
I grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had
Je suis
changed.
une anguille.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Je. Allô le jeu? Ouais, c'était un bug, on est d'accord. C'était un bug.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
C'est la caméra qui me suivait pas en fait.
Passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
Faut aller, je... Faut aller où là? Je comprends pas. Ah, c'est le bébé. Merde. Oh, une poussette, c'est pour ça que j'ai peur.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep.
Ouais, elle a elle a complètement perdu la boule. Avec l'enfant star, sûrement.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have. This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
C'est tout?
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Ok, lui ça a été rapide, ça a duré même pas 2 minutes. Ok.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Ouais, j'ai l'impression que toute leur tragédie tourne autour de contes macabres et tout.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
C'est quoi ce... ces papiers là?
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Je sais pas si c'est une moquette ou du papier, mais c'est moche. Hein. Dans les deux cas, c'est moche. Hein.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Ok, de où dans une salle bain toilette. Ouais, je vois.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Ah. Et voilà, elle le fait automatiquement, ok. Elle est juste que j'avance.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
Appuyer. Oh, je peux pas y aller de suite. Avant d'y aller. Aller en haut. Et coucou ailleurs, comment tu vas? J'espère que ça va. What? Ça a bugué.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
On est dans le souvenir du gamin.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did.
Ah, écoute, ça va, on est lancé sur un jeu que je connais que de nom. C'est un jeu narratif, donc il n'y a pas trop de gameplay. Bon, on a quand même réussi à avoir un magnifique bug. Mais bon, je crois que je les collectionne en ce moment. Regarde de ton côté que tout va bien. Il faut que je fasse quelque chose en particulier ou... C'est ce qu'il faut faire. Ça donne la gerbe de conneries. Ah, bon bah j'espère que ça va, ouais, le moral et les vacances. Bientôt, moi aussi. J'ai hâte, je fais les petites croix là.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
Ah, ok.
I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready!
Coming! But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible.
Youhou!
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up.
J'aurais peur, hein, si ça faisait ça, le...
But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Ça a été Peter Pan. Ouais.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Ouais. Bah en fait, le... Je sais pas si tu connais le jeu. De ce que je comprends, c'est qu'il y a une... C'est chaque membre de la famille, ils sont tous morts. Hein. Il y a juste nous qui sommes en vie. Et en fait, je pense que toutes leurs histoires macabres, entre guillemets, parce que je pense que le gamin, il a dû avoir un accident avec la balançoire et il en est mort. Elle les raconte de façon comme un conte, en fait, à chaque fois. Enfin, je pense que ça va être un truc comme ça. Hein.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Je pense que c'est chaque histoire est vraiment absurde. Enfin, c'est raconté de façon totalement absurde.
Mom said Grandpa
Et
Sam
fantaisiste.
enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Et il se cache je pense une histoire macabre bien réelle derrière tout ça. Je pense que c'est là où s'oriente, je pense, que l'histoire. Enfin, pour l'instant, moi, c'est ce que je
Passages
comprends.
were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Vous avez connu les balançoires rigides avec les barres au lieu des chaînes? Oui, il me semble que j'en ai connu. Des balançoires comme ça.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Ouais, c'est
Jack here with another ghastly tale.
les contes de la crypte, ça.
America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it the surprise ending of Barbara Finch.
Ah, j'adore.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream.
Je les ai, ces
Now,
comics.
at
C'est
16, she was
exactement
all
ça.
washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Oh, purée.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father.
C'est pas une
Sam.
vraie
He'd slipped into
épisode,
a
ça?
table saw and
Ça
had
me
to
dit
be
quelque
rushed
chose.
to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Ah, la musique.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Ils ont les droits de la musique ou... Je peux tabasser des gens. Allez, ramène-toi.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Je vais faire strike la vidéo. Vite.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Je suis prête. Over.
Walter, are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Oh, il est là.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And there he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Oh, faut se dépêcher.
That night, she played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Let's go.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Ouais, je sais pas comment ils ont fait pour avoir les droits. Je pensais que ça allait être une variante, mais non, non, c'est vraiment le vrai thème du film. Il a disparu!
Had vanished. She listened
No!
for his breathing, but all she heard was.
Elle va tabasser, c'est son copain, c'est ça? Oh, je pense qu'il devait les avoir, hein. C'est Annapurna, hein. C'est pas n'importe qui.
It was coming from inside the house.
C'est encore l'autre. Hein.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night.
Ah, ce soir-là, il y avait qu'un S.
Hiding under his
What?
bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Qui fait tant de long.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Ok. A été rigolo ce passage. C'était bien fait. Attends, bon. Pour ressortir par là, non? Non, je suis obligée de passer par là.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box. Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
En haut, je sais plus.
Mom must have
no.
locked the third floor stairs on the night we left. It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key. My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
On l'a déjà fait.
As a kid, I just assumed every
On l'a
house had
fait.
peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Et aussi, on l'a fait.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Je suppose qu'il faut aller sur la boîte à musique. pas allumer les...
I wonder if that comic was right about there being a key inside the music box near the basement.
Je sais qu'il faut utiliser la boîte à musique, mais je sais plus où aller. Comment elle était à l'entrée, il me semble. Voilà, j'ai fait tellement sombre que je vois rien.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone.
C'est quoi ce souterrain de l'enfer?
She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
C'est un bunker à la... cas de fin de monde.
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
Il s'est enfermé carrément dans son bunker.
Living for today.
Oui.
I always expected to be dead tomorrow.
76.
Wait long enough, you get used to anything.
68 ou 69, je sais plus. Et il est resté jusqu'en 1976.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Yeah.
And then one day, everything just
2005, mais purée.
stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Ok, toujours aussi dégoûtant à voir.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Il y a encore un souterrain dans des souterrains. Mais combien... il a fait combien d'étages? Il n'y a même pas YouTube pour s'occuper. En 2005, quoique non, c'était pas encore arrivé de... YouTube, c'est 2007, je crois.
Whatever killed Barbara and Molly named Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
Oh, ouais,
Whatever's out
d'accord.
there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Et tout ça pour se faire, pour se suicider sous les rails. Ah mais dis donc, c'est horrible.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Et c'est horrible.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Alors là, ça devait être bien, une odeur bien agréable.
Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Aller nager là-bas. Ah si. Aller là-bas. C'est de là que je viens. Faire demi-tour déjà que je mets 1000 ans à avancer. Ah, je peux pas aller plus loin. Ah si. C'est vrai que je dois pas aller je dois pas aller là-bas. On va essayer. J'essaie d'appuyer, mais... je vais encore tout faire péter. Je vais tout casser. Allez, on va aller là-bas.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
C'est bien par là qu'il fallait aller. Hein.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Par là.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
Il y en a eu
3
des
of the
animaux morts.
gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Donc c'est pas le cimetière des animaux qui ressuscite, on est bon?
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Ah, c'est celle qui a été prise par les eaux.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
pas marcher sur la vitre. C'est super, je vois.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Un peu trop pour faire la chasse, hein. Et la guerre.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Et d'aller là. Je vais aller là d'abord.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Vous voulez pas appuyer?
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Ou pas? Parce qu'il faut que je la trouve. Ouais. C'est ça que je prenne en photo? Non, c'est pas ça. L'oiseau qu'il faut prendre en photo.
Aw.
Je sais pas s'il faut prendre en photo là. Ça voit pas la fille. On va rester bloqué là, hein. Je sais pas où est-ce qu'il faut prendre en photo. C'est ça que je voulais pas appuyer. Ah, il faut que je me retourne, putain.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Faut trouver Jason dans l'eau.
Nothing quite like being outside.
Hmm.
Hey!
That's a keeper. Hold still while I take a picture of you.
Putain, il fallait que je tourne bien la caméra sur la gauche.
I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
En fait, ça aurait été un easter egg d'avoir quelque chose dans l'eau.
Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa's Fen taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd...
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad,
Let me get behind you.
Pas tuer le cerf, moi.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive,
Oh.
you need to be strong.
Pas la mère de Bambi. Ou le père de Bambi.
Great shot, Don!
No.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Peut-être je peux faire bouger le mec.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Ah bah bien fait. Voilà. Mérité.
of all these stories,
C'est vraiment horrible
that's
quand
the
même,
one I wish
malgré
most
tout.
that my mom had told me.
Celle-là était un peu trop réaliste, effectivement. Et non, pourquoi il est parti? Non.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
peux bouger la grenouille.
Bath time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam,
Le bébé dans l'eau, faut jamais le laisser seul.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
Voilà.
You could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us
Aïe aïe aïe. Je m'en doutais.
about the world he saw.
C'est beaucoup trop joyeux pour l'horrible
There's so much
histoire.
I don't understand. About Gregory,
Oh là là.
about everything.
Par contre, pourquoi c'est le bébé de Shrek, ça je sais pas.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy.
Ouais, mais c'est horrible quand tu t'imagines qu'en fait le bébé s'est noyé. Enfin,
Good luck, Kay.
dans la réalité, c'est horrible.
Love, Sam.
Mais bon. C'est le paradoxe entre le truc ultra joyeux et la fin horrible du bébé. Certainement. Oh là là, même pas un an quoi. Oh, quel cauchemar.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard
J'ai pas le temps de lire.
that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I remember.
Husband and wife. Make it pride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Ouais. Il a envoyé chez son père.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Tout pété!
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Merde. Ouais.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Hey. Aussi, c'est bien triste. Bon, par contre, c'était moins la joie.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Pas pratique hein, pour aller dormir quand même.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared,
Ah, c'est le fameux où on sait pas sûr
left
s'il est
behind
mort.
was a room full of paintings.
Peut-être apprendre qu'il est vraiment pas mort ou encore un truc horrible qui s'est passé.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Ouais, c'est fini. Ah, t'as raté des morts assez horribles. Enfin, dont une d'un bébé d'1 an. Je suppose que tu l'as pas vu ce passage.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Non, ça avait un côté joyeux, mais bon, ça dénotait sur la réalité de sa disparition, on va dire. C'était un peu le... C'était un peu le bad de mon côté.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Il y a que lui où il a disparu, mais bon, je suppose qu'il est mort, mais on sait pas ce qui lui est arrivé.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Le compteur de mort. Bravo. Bien trouvé ça.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Ça devait bien planer. Non, je voulais... Mais pourquoi tu... Et...
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
J'ai peur de ce qui se passe.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Ah.
I asked him to describe it.
Et je joue la main et je joue le petit bonhomme qui a... Voilà, c'est compliqué là, de faire deux choses en même temps.
He started small.
Je peux le faire, mais bon, c'est pas facile quand même.
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. and things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss.
Comment il... Ah oui, il faut que je fasse le tour là.
But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Ah, ça devait être un peu l'emmerdement ce qu'il faisait, hein, le pauvre.
Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis-topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Il en est devenu complètement fou.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a beautiful prince.
Je peux choisir, d'accord.
The prince was on his own quest for
serpent?
Sinister serpents. He followed the sound of his
La guitare électrique, tiens.
Electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Waouh. Il est beau le temple.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
On est revenu à la réalité. Une Switch.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
GG.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Ah, il faut monter. Comprendre.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Parce qu'on célèbre, mais on célèbre.
His prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Ah ouais, d'accord. Super, le couronnement de rêve. C'est nous qu'on va se trancher la tête. C'est génial. Quelle chance.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Ah ouais, c'est super, c'est la fête.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Il fallait pas passer par là. Ah, j'ai fait tout le chemin pour rien. Je savais bien que ça c'est pas normal.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
J'ai le temps de tout lire.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
Du tout.
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Yeah?
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Super. Vous voulez qu'on vous conte
This
la
is where your
naissance d'un
story
bébé? Ben voilà.
begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Bah, super. Elle est morte en couche, c'était génial. Ça va vous? C'est l'éclate, hein. Bon, bah c'était le bad absolu, hein. Ah super, en plus c'est pour en hommage d'une vraie personne en plus. Quelle horreur. Horrible. Horrible jusqu'au bout, quoi. Bon, ben voilà, hein. J'espère que ça vous a plu. Moi, je sais pas trop quoi en penser. J'avoue que c'est pas mal, mais je vois. Ça n'a pas été le WoW fait. Il y a des... il y a des passages, l'espèce de BD, là, la façon de Conte de la Crypte, c'était trop bien. Bon, il y avait des trucs très très badants avec le bébé dans la salle dans la baignoire. Il y avait quelques... Bah, c'était badant tout le long, on va pas se mentir. Non, c'est pas mal dans un sens, mais je sais pas quoi penser en vrai. Il y a beaucoup d'imagination, on peut pas dire que... il n'y a pas de... comment dire? Il n'y a pas d'imagination. Mais ouais. C'était le gros bad. Mais bon, ça reste quand même... ça reste assez sympa. Pour un petit walking simulator. Ça reste une belle découverte. Oh purée. Oh non, pas ça. Je veux plus revoir la baleine. Et les trucs de la baignoire et la grenouille. Oh non, c'est le pire ça. Je crois que c'est le pire. Ça c'était rigolo. Mais bon, la chute pas dramatique, mais c'est vrai que moi ça avait un petit côté marrant celui-là. Celui qui voulait voler, ça c'était aussi le bad. Ah, la petite fille là, qui rêvait d'être un chat et un hibou, un requin, 12 ans. Ah bah, le bébé dans dans la baignoire, c'est le pire. Ah là là, je m'en remets toujours pas. Eh ben, j'espère que vous, ça vous a plu. Ça va, je vous ai pas trop démoralisé avec ce jeu. J'aurais voulu que ce soit quelque chose d'un peu plus joyeux. C'est vrai que j'aurais dû prendre un jeu avec une histoire qui soit pas si terrible que ça. Pour le dernier stream avant les vacances. On va le faire. Non, ça va. End. Rejouer, une histoire est maintenant disponible chez Netflix Sélectionner Edith pour jouer dès le début. Ok. Et ouais, tu peux rejouer. Il y a juste lui, hein, vraiment le pauvre. On sait jamais où est-ce qu'il est. Bon, vu, voilà. On l'a pas. Pas vu, il doit être mort. Et dans tous les cas. Edith, finalement, on apprend qu'elle est décédée. Elle aussi. Finalement, c'est juste son gamin qui est revenu. Bon, on va s'arrêter là pour la VOD YouTube. J'espère que ça vous a plu, que ça n'a pas été un peu bad de votre côté. N'hésitez pas à liker, commenter comme un dab. Et à bientôt avec une histoire un peu plus sympa, j'espère. On va moins pleurer. Allez, ciao, ciao, YouTube.